Hey, what's up, everyone? Ryan Arnold, aka Demon Master Reviews here, and today I wanted to just kind of knock out two birds with one stone and just review two albums. These particular two albums. This one right here, Persephone's new EP, Lingua Ignota Part 1, which I found translated, which is called Unknown Language. And then over here, Enterprise Earth's brand new album, Death and Anthology. So I'm just going to knock out essentially two birds with one stone. For Persephone, this was released, both of them were released on February 2nd of 2024, a couple of days ago, a few days ago, with Persefone being released via Napalm Records and Enterprise Earth's album being released via MNRK. So let's begin with obviously some of the notes and stuff like that. For the Persefone album, um, their first album with Daniel Rodriguez Feliz. To some people, I have talked about this band before. I reviewed this album, which I actually now own, by the way. Wait, really great album. Here with this album, with this EP, I should say, it's part one of an EP, and I don't know how many more they might be doing. They might do another one, hopefully later on this year. But listening to it, it didn't really. I guess the first few tracks really didn't click for me until I listened to the title track of this album. And I started to understand what this is. Essentially, it's like it's either Opeth not only continue going down more of the death metal stuff after Watershed instead of going the prog rock and prog metal stuff, and we're like, with more extreme, more experimental, or it's like if Opeth and Nay Oblivious Scars had a child, it would be this EP, this album. It's only 5 tracks, with the title track being 7 minutes. It had that I couldn't put a finger on it. It had a lot of there were some, like I said, there's the Opeth stuff, the prog death, there's the that enabler scars, there's the Milo death stuff that's kind of like it's all over the place, like some Dark Tranquility, Halo Effect, even some soil work a little bit. There's some Tesseract here, there's some Jet stuff, there's some Tool in here, even there's a little bit of a black metal tremolo picking riff on this, some groove metal, and yeah, it's kind of an interesting EP. Oh, but I did absolutely love this EP. Might listen to it again. Would giving this a 9.75. Definitely might be one of those that definitely potentially gets onto the list. And then we get to this album right here, Enterprise Earth, Death and Anthology. This one. Um, there is a good amount of guest spots on here. We have Ben Dewar. Wes Houch is on here. I think there's another guest vocalist on another guest on here. Darius Tevrani. Yeah, Wes Houch does a guitar solo on here. Ben Dewar does his growls. Matt Heafy was on here, but only for a little bit on there. It's probably near the beginning of the last song, Curse of Flesh, where it was like it wasn't his cleans or something like that. It was more of like his yelling screams or something like that. That you would associate him with on kind of like not really the growls or the lows or even the clean singing or stuff like that. It was more of like the kind of like a yelling type of the yelling vocals that he does. I could clearly tell. I knew right away who I was like, okay, that's Matt. That is Matt. Hell yeah. But from what I heard, the rest of this album, it's kind of an interesting one. It reminds me of a much more extreme and experimental version of that one band that Andy, I can't remember, can't even pronounce his last name. Starts with a C, I think it is. And Nick Nocturnal, their band Termina. It reminds me a little bit more of that. It's much more heavier, much more extreme, much more experimental and stuff like that. And there is that melodic depth. It's more of like a combination of the metalcore and deathcore stuff. it's kind of interesting, and I absolutely loved it because I knew about this kind of style from Termina. That's the band Termina, Nick Nocturnal's band with Andy. Really great stuff. I absolutely loved it. Rating wise, I probably would give this album. I would probably give it. Oof, it's tough. Probably it's somewhere in the 9.5 or 9.75. I can't really decide. It was great. I do think there's some great moments. I probably definitely will give it a 9.75 out of 10. Out of 10. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to go with. 9.75 out of 10. Great album. Definitely will listen to it again. Hopefully when it's closer to the year. But yep. Thank y'all for this, I guess, this short little double review, because I just didn't want to waste time with these two albums. Albums just knock out two birds with one stone, pretty much. I guess I want them to make this a little longer. I want to make this little announcement. I'm gonna be trying to put together a kind of a live show or a podcast, some stuff. Sometimes it's gonna be on StreamYard. Sometimes it's gonna be on gonna be recording it via Zoom or something like that. And it's gonna be called the Damage Incorporated Show. Um, because of certain circumstances with a certain individual, I'm not gonna name his name. Basically going, you might know him. You probably might know him. But because of all that stuff moving forward, there's going to be a new show that I'm probably going to be doing the Damaged Incorporated show. Oh, it's going to be a live stream type thing. It's going to be guests and stuff like that. So, figured to make it a little bit longer, I want to make that announcement. So, yep. I wanted to mention that. So, don't know when the first episode of the Damaged Incorporated podcast will be. But I'll make an announcement hopefully soon in the coming days or weeks of when the first one will happen. Probably I got a few guests I got to look into and see if they want to be a guest, occasional guest, or maybe full guest and stuff like that. But rest assured that's going to be happening moving forward. So yep, thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed this review and the announcement, click the like or the dislike, whichever floats your boat. Comment below what your thoughts are on these albums and the announcement. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. I definitely want to try and hopefully get to maybe 300, maybe 500. I don't know when, but I definitely want to get there. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching. This has been my reviews of Persephone's Lingua, Ignota Part 1, and Enterprise Earth's Death and Anthology. I will see y'all later, and as always, keep things metal.